what is it they say about Aslan? Aslan's not a tame lion.
Right.
But
right.
he's
not safe, but he's good.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. He's not safe, but he's good. I heard a preacher say one time, he said the most awful thing he could imagine was an all-powerful being that's not good. You know, if God's not good, then this is a terrifying passage. Hey guys, welcome back to the Kingdom Vision podcast. It's Matt again, and Bruce, say hi.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi, Bruce. Glad to have you back with us. Tim was not available again today as we're recording, but we wanted to jump into week 3's readings today. I'm going to briefly introduce those and talk about those. Then, Bruce, you jump in anytime.
Yes, sir.
But I did want to start off by saying that there are those out there that really think this idea of a divine council, of this group of created spiritual beings that are part of God's what I would call his divine family, meaning his spiritual family that's not human. They're not physical. I mean, they find it controversial. It's quick for people to get into, oh, you're talking about more than one God. But we want to show you today in the scriptures that we're not saying that. It is kind of hotly debated, and we're not really here to do that either. But we do need to touch on it because it's part of the story. And just wanted to go in through that. And so as you were looking into your readings this week, we took you through several scriptures. Psalm 89, we were in Psalm 29. What was the other Psalm, Bruce? Was it
Psalm 82?
Psalm 29, 89?
And 82.
And 82. And just wanted to show that the scriptures use this language of this assembly, that God stood in this assembly. He stood in this council, and whatever that, is interpreted to mean, we have to deal with the scriptures as they're written, and I think, I don't, Bruce, if you disagree, jump in, but even when stuff feels kind of weird, we have to remember the scriptures are telling a story, a big story, not just little stories.
Right.
And these parts that may seem odd, they do fit into the story. And part of us figuring it out is we have to deal with the text. And maybe sometimes, especially when the text doesn't make all the sense we'd like it to make. As we kind of get started in this, one of the things I want to key on is I want to frame how we see reality. This whole week we've been talking about seeing the way things really are versus what we think they are.
Right.
And I know in my walk with the Lord, there have been tons of time where I thought something was one way, and the more that I study, the more that I learn, I've realized, it's not exactly that. It's this other thing over here. Have you ever had any moments like that, Bruce, where you kind of discovered something after the fact?
Oh, yeah. Well, our study last week, I've always had this, I think I said it last week even, I've always had this vision that there was a fall and we were kicked out of the garden, and there we go, right? But all of that language about leaving the garden was in there before the fall, right? So we weren't able to return after the fall, but we were always supposed to exit and subdue, right? So as we start to dig into some of these things that I'm not super clear on, but it's very helpful in understanding some of the things that go on in our formulation of this whole story. So I'm excited to dig into it a little bit.